in social science, there is not a single definition of culture, but there are usually different theories of it, so that it can encompass as a notion something that relates to anything immaterial, such as values, such as norms, such as artifacts, basically. And then there could be different theories that try to account for how culture is produced, how culture is actually reproduced, and what are its expressions in terms of social processes, in terms of any material evidence, any material representation of culture. And then, of course, there is a digital age, and then there is a lot of activity in the digital realm, which is basically related to culture and how it is actually formed and reformed and affected, etc. That in this aspect, culture is a very broad term, and there are numerous approaches to defining culture, researching culture, and to making conclusions about what it can do, so that in empirical research it can usually be about either approaching a single expression of culture, a phenomenon, or a single artifact, or a group of artifacts, and trying to understand what their place in society is, how this come about, how these are affected, and it is almost endless, so that there is not a single notion in sociology of culture, but there are multiples, even hundreds of ideas, of concepts, of definitions of culture, and all of these can be valid in their own way. So that I would suggest that culture is one of the most vague, one of the most encompassing terms or notions or concepts in social thought, and then it will usually need to be made very precise, such as even art. For instance, if one can think about modern art, it will be something very specific, maybe in European terms, but then if one can think about Aboriginal art in Australia, then one will have to probably think of very early let's say artifacts produced in the history of Australia, such as before the European colonial presence, and then one would then will have to think about how these artifacts, which could also have anthropological meanings, anthropological uses in the local culture, have been actually re-evaluated in the modern period, such as via the work of curators, via the work of museums, etc., etc., that it becomes many different things depending on the approach one takes toward a culture, or let's say a culture is, or what a cultural artifact can be for different groups, for different people, and maybe at different time points.